The Pain in Our Head podcast contains themes of coarse language, adult themes, and the discussion of mental health themes. Some content may be emotionally challenging. If you or someone you know is at risk, please visit the description for mental health and suicide prevention contacts. Enjoy the show. What's going on, everyone? Caleb here.
Howdy, I'm Christian.
Welcome to this week's episode. How's your week been, Christian?
Yep, it's been pretty good.
Good, yeah.
A good week.
You having a good week? Excellent. That's good to hear. I didn't even say anything bad this week.
Yeah. Now my upload speed's cooked.
No, it's all right. I think it'll come good. Oh well. Tell me what's been happening this week. How's things?
1 week, I'm gonna get you back. Like, I'm gonna get you.
I am scared.
1 week, you're gonna send me a recording, and I'm just going to like in that little window, I'm gonna start it, and you'll be sitting there shitting bricks. Like, I hope he stops this before it goes live. And boom, just going to enter with Caleb admitting something real horrible. But no, my week's been good.
Wait till we do a live stream.
Yeah. I'll explain why I want to call you Bubble Guts.
I don't even want to know.
Maybe the listeners do.
Let us know in the comments if you want to know why Christian wants to call me Bubble Guts. Anyway, what else has been happening this week? Well, anything exciting happened this week?
No. No.
That's good.
Yep.
Crazy week.
Yep.
Good.
No. It's
Excellent.
been an extreme heat wave. So that's been fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I absolutely just love sweating my ring gear out. So I love saying that. I love sweating my ring gear out. Like, it's just such a satisfying phrase. I don't know why. I don't know who said it first, but I'm here for it. Same as I'm not here to fornicate with arachnids.
Rolls
I
off
love
the
saying
tongue.
that. Like, you can say, like, not here to fuck spiders. It's like, no, I'm fancy as shit. I'm not here to fornicate with arachnids.
That's a mouthful.
Give you a mouthful.
Well, we are going to chat about some different sort of things this week. We're going to talk about some music. We've got some great music to discuss later on in the podcast. So thank you for tuning in. We want to talk about what it's like to help someone who is going through some mental health issues, and what it's like for, I guess, someone on that side of the fence as well, or both sides of the fence. What it's like to have someone to try and help, and just really talk about what are some, I guess, maybe some do's and don'ts when you are trying to help someone who's going through something like a tough time, or that they do have some mental health things or problems that they're going through. So yeah, we want to kind of talk about that, and we've got, I think we're going to talk from experience in that sort of regard.
I keep messing up. I keep putting my chair in too far, and then there's a drawer, and I can't, like, I put my legs up when I'm sitting down, and so then I go to put my legs back down, and I kick the fucking drawer, Or I try to be real subtle about it, and I'm like, I'll just slide my legs down. Like, there's enough gap there. And there's not. There's never enough gap. So I get stuck with my fucking ankle between the chair and the desk drawer. Like, I want to put my legs down now, but I can't move the fucking chair out because it's just going to shake the whole desk. I need to be able to sit like a normal person, but I like to cross my legs. I like to sit with my legs up, and then I put them out, and then I put them up, and I put them out. It's like restless legs. But yes, we're going to talk from experience on mental health and helping people. So obviously been there, reached out to friends a lot, had lots of friends reach out to me. And with doing my TikTok videos, when I started doing those about BPD, had heaps of people reach out to me. And so, yeah, lots of experience on both sides of the fence. Not sitting on the fence though, because don't want to catch my nuts. That'd be horrible. So it's good to choose a side to be on.
Oh my goodness. You're a shocker.
Yeah, I'm pretty on it today.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I want to talk about an organisation. Listeners may have heard of it. You've probably heard of it before, and that organisation is Are You OK?
Mm-hmm.
And I really like the way they've gone about talking about this whole helping others, talking to others, just being that point of conversation. We've spoken about it in previous episodes as well, of just how asking someone, just taking that time to ask someone how they're doing, how's their week been, and just provide an ear, just allow someone to, maybe have a vent. Maybe that's what they need. And you're not there to solve problems necessarily. If you can, great, awesome, fantastic. But I think 9 times out of 10, you're not going to be able to solve problems. And that as well isn't going to help the person that you're trying to help. But moving back towards the Are You OK situation, or the Are You OK organization, they've got some, their 4 steps are ask, listen, encourage action, and then just check in. And they're just 4 really simple, I guess, steps that you can take when you are trying to help someone who's going through a rough time or some mental health issues.
Yeah, I like the Are You OK group. It's, it's great reaching out, helping people, encouraging people to initiate that conversation. But there's one thing that I don't like about it. And it's not necessarily the group, it's that it's kind of like any other, it's become like any other sort of cause. So to liken it to something, Melbourne Cup Day. Melbourne Cup Day comes around once a year, and you get a whole heap of people who are suddenly up in arms about animal welfare. And International Women's Day comes around, same thing. You get a bunch of people who are supporting Women's Day. And then you've got a bunch of really shitty guys who are also like, oh, what about International Men's Day? No one talks about it. So, well, actually, did you know that when the most Googled day for International Men's Day is International Women's Day? That is the most popular day for guys to Google when is International Men's Day. So stop being fucking insecure. Embrace that women have rights and need to be treated fairly. Don't be a little bitch. So, and that's it's the same thing with Are You OK? So, you've got people like us out there, and not just us, there's heaps of people out there who are fully supportive of mental health, having those conversations, all that sort of stuff. But then you get like all these people jumping on the bandwagon for a couple of days or a week, and it's like, yeah, mental health. And then for the rest of the year, they don't do shit. So it annoys me a little bit. And it's good, but it's also
Yeah.
annoying. It's frustrating. It's like, yeah, everyone's all about mental health
Mm.
for, mental health month.
Yeah, for 24 hours.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. No, it is. I totally get where you're coming from. And I think that part about it is that part sucks, really, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because it should be something that's done all year round. And it's something that people should keep in mind all year round. And yeah, just, if you see someone struggling, go and ask them. Doesn't matter what day of the year it is. And I love your examples too. And my examples with that actually are Christmas and like probably around Christmas. So around Christmas time, everyone goes out and buys a bunch of presents for everyone, and whatever that might be. Same as Valentine's Day, you go buy flowers, chocolates, whatever it might be. I've never been able to get past the part of why we have to wait for a day to go and buy something for someone that you love, or get flowers for someone that you love on Valentine's Day. Why can't you do that any day of the year? Why does it have to be on this one specific day? So same idea, same concept. So go buy flowers for someone on any day because you feel like it. Go and ask someone if they're okay on any day because they may need you to have that conversation with them on that day, and not wait for that particular day to come around because it'll be too late.
I'm like Miley Cyrus. I don't need you to buy me flowers. I can buy my own. But I'd buy you flowers. Like, do you have like a flower that you like? Because I don't. I don't really care for flowers.
Yeah, I like sunflowers.
I knew you were going to say
I'm not
that.
sure why.
Legitimately, as I asked
they're
you, I
just
was
so-
like, I reckon he likes sunflowers.
They're just, I don't know. I don't know what I like about them. They're big, they're obnoxious, but they're strong, I guess. I don't know.
Is it because that's like, are you describing me or the sunflower?
Well, you're definitely not big. A little bit obnoxious.
Big where it counts. In my heart, I have a big heart and I have big feelings.
You do. So, but so with all that aside, there are some great steps, and if you look at the website, there's those steps that I mentioned before. You can just ask someone, listen to them, encourage, and just check in with them as well. It's really important, but it's all just about having that conversation. There's a lot of do's and don'ts as well in terms of what you should try not to do when you are trying to support someone going through a mental health situation, or are struggling with mental health. There are lots of things that you should try not to do. And things like comments. And what I mean by that is like saying things like, "You're fine," or "Cheer up." You know what I mean?
So that's a big
words.
trigger.
You go.
So
yeah, I thought it might be.
With BPD, right? It's for a long time it hasn't been something that's really been well known about. They're still learning about it and still educating people on it. So there's a lot of stigma around people with BPD. And unfortunately, probably one of the more unhealthy, I guess, beliefs is that there are a lot of nurses and doctors who do not know much about BPD. And those nurses and doctors are super, super dismissive of people with BPD that present to the emergency room. And so I had a friend, and while I was visiting them in there was no room for them in the mental health ward when they got admitted, so they were just in a room under supervision, and a nurse walked past the door and was just outside the door talking to another nurse and literally said that, oh, this one's just got BPD. They're just here for attention. And that's the sort of shit that nurses will say. And it's just so goddamn infuriating. It's like, oh, it's just in your head. Like they just want validation. They're just here for attention. Like I wish they'd just, deal with it. And it's actually a condition. If we present, like, we need help, because 9 times out of 10 we don't think we deserve help. So it's like, if we're presenting, like, you better believe it's fucking the end of the line. Like, so it's just
Yeah, it's infuriating, isn't it?
yeah.
So they're the sort of things to be mindful of and look out for. So when I think about times that I've gone about helping, or I guess being there, listening, lending an ear to someone who is going through mental health issues or problems, I think one of the best things that you can do, and it can be done in different sort of ways, is to really just help that person and let that person talk through the scenarios themselves. So don't assume anything. Don't tell them an answer or a solution that you feel will help them. There's obviously some things that you can recommend. Things like, I'm going to talk about, like, recommend maybe seeing someone who is a little bit more inclined to help in more depth with the issue or with those sort of details. But one of the better things that you can do if you're not a trained professional in that sort of field is to really just help, I guess, in terms of, like, talk that person through and ask them things like, what can you do? And they might not know, but asking that sort of question might spark a little bit of thought in that person. It'll help them kind of center themselves a little bit, and they might be able to start thinking about not necessarily what's going wrong. I think it's more about that positive reinforcement and about sort of just trying to help them pull out some positives and some positive outlooks. And we spoke about mindsets last week and positive mindsets. If you can help and encourage that person think about some positive mindsets, that's gonna be one of the best things that you can do when you are helping someone.
Yeah, agreed. So that last thing that I said was quite triggering for me, and the YouTube viewers might notice that I engaged a coping mechanism. So I felt myself getting very angry about it, and so I had to unlock my jaw and I had to, like, shake out my shoulders, get into a comfortable position, take a nice breath. So I do it. I do use these tools that we talk about.
Yeah. They do help.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's easy. It's as easy as that. Like, just quickly do a check. You're like, okay, I'm feeling annoyed about what I just said. So, yeah, jaws clenched, shoulders are tight. Shake it out, loosen it up. Let's keep going. I'm back where we were. So, good to go. I like that. So, yeah, it's having that conversation with somebody when they're in a bad place. Like, it takes a lot of work for someone to reach out to a friend. It's not an easy thing to do. It takes a lot of courage. Usually it's gotten to a point where they're just overwhelmed as hell and they've had to reach out to somebody. So definitely not making assumptions or judging somebody for getting to that point. Like, definitely have an open mind. And sometimes you might not agree with what that person's trying to tell you. And you need to be able to kind of separate yourself from that situation and just be like, all right, this isn't about me. This is about supporting my friend who's reached out to me. They need help. And I'm going to try the best that I can to be impartial and just be an ear and just kind of guide them in the right direction. And like Caleb said, sometimes the best thing you can do is just to have that conversation and suggest getting a bit of help or just reaching out to a professional, because no one's qualified except for actual professionals to have those conversations. Like the conversations help, but a lot of the time people need to seek professional help. And I know the mental health system is fucked. It is so hard to navigate. It's choked up to the shithouse. And it doesn't mean that you get to give up, though. Like, you still suggest those things. So, yeah,
Yeah, and that's why it's so important too to just have a conversation with someone, because of that, those reasons as well. The mental health system can be tricky. It's hard to navigate, as you said. So don't underestimate how important your small conversation with someone, don't underestimate how much that could do for good, how much that can actually help. And I think it really is, like you said as well, like not being judgmental, just take that impartialness into the conversation. And one of my other really big things is to be patient. Be really patient with that person. It can get frustrating. It can. It really can. And I know that from being someone who suffered from mental health. I've seen how frustrating it has been on family, friends, and that sort of thing. So the last thing you want to do as someone who is listening, helping, last thing you want to do is show them that you're frustrated by what they're telling you, because that just would just make it even worse. So it's really, really important to be patient, let them say their piece. And as Christian said, even if you don't agree, you may not agree with some things that they're saying, you may not agree with the way that they're going about it, but telling them that's not the way to do it is only going to push them further into going about it that way, really, isn't it? You tell someone they can't do something and they're going to go and do it. And that's just with anything and everything. I tell Christian he can't do something all the time and then he'll do it.
You won't.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, be patient. That's a massive one for me, for both sides as well. In terms of the person who is going through the mental health issues, if someone is open, someone is taking, they've recognized that you're having a hard time, you're struggling, also be patient with that person trying to help you, because a lot of the time their intentions are for good. They're probably not there to try and belittle you. They're probably not there to make things worse. That wouldn't be their intention. They've reached out. They want to chat to you. They want to talk to you. They want to hear your side. They want to listen. They want to understand. And so sometimes people can make mistakes, especially if they're, maybe it's the first time or it's the first kind of conversation you've had with that person, they're learning as well. They're learning how to help you, because that's going to be different for everybody. And, if I'm talking to Christian, that's a completely different sort of approach that I take to if I was talking to someone else, or listening to someone else about some issues or things that are going on. It's a completely different approach. So, and it takes time. It takes patience, and you got to get to know that person as well.
You don't know me. So, well, we can bring up. Sorry, we can bring up Friday. Was it Friday? Yeah, I feel like it was Friday.
Yeah.
So,
I think so.
I messaged Caleb, and I got some fucking disgusting news Friday morning, and I really, really struggled. Like, I was in a state. I'm not gonna go into the news. It's not my story to tell. Just, it affected me severely. It absolutely triggered me, and I had to work for hours to kind of bring myself back to a level where I could function properly. I was absolutely seeing red, and I reached out to Caleb and was like, dude, I am absolutely struggling. And Caleb was like, cool, I'm here. If you need to talk, like, give me a call. And I was like, nah, can't do it right now. Not in the right headspace. Like, I'm fucking pissed off. And I'm working at it. I'm using my coping mechanisms. Just give me time. And Caleb was like, yep, no, that's cool. Like, when you're ready, like, I'm here, phone's right with me. Just call me when you're good. And he sent me like a little voice note on Messenger and was like, look, yeah, rah, rah, rah. Then sent me a little recording of him singing a song that we'd been talking about. And just like, that was all I needed. Just knowing that when I was ready to talk, Caleb was there to listen. And, he had my back. He was ready to support me. And he was accepting of what I needed to do to get through it. And that was great. That was perfect. And I did. I gave him the call on the way home. We spoke a lot of shit, as we do, obviously. And yeah, that was it. That was perfect. And that's all it needs to be sometimes, like just that little chat.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think in that situation, so this is a really good example. Actually, I'm glad you brought it up, because I can talk about my perspective. So getting that from someone, whether that for me, getting that message from you, but in general, getting a message like that from someone, you can go into a little bit of a flight or fight mode as someone, especially if it's someone that you care about. So one of the hardest things to do when you're on that side of the fence, so in my situation, from my perspective, one of the hardest things to do is sometimes to restrain yourself from pushing too much. So, as I said, that patience really does go both ways. And that patience was probably the most important thing that I could have done in that scenario for Christian at that time. I didn't doubt any of the coping mechanisms he was going to use. I didn't doubt or talk down about the fact that he needed that time. So allowing that patience and just explaining that, yep, I'm here when you're ready, happy to just have a chat. Doesn't need to be even about the situation. Doesn't even need to be about the story. And I don't even think we even chatted about, what really was going on. We was more or less just, we talked. He was able to just say his sort of piece, like how he was feeling, and that's I think that's what really ended up helping in the end, like you said. So really important. It just, really cements that fact of how important that little bit of patience really can be. And it's hard. It is hard because especially if it's somebody that you love, it's somebody that you care about or anything like that, it can be really hard to not just want to help them immediately. But doing that will only push them further away and will not want them or will not give them a feeling of that safeness in terms of that conversation and understanding either, that you'll make them feel like you don't understand. So great. Really good example. I'm really glad you brought that up.
Yeah. I like what you said too about the whole being patient with somebody. So I'm an absolute sucker for this. So when I'm in your position and someone's reached out to me, it's part of the whole BPD thing. But if someone reaches out to me for a very long time, I've gotten a lot better at it. Like, I respect boundaries and understand that people move at different speeds, have different styles, all that sort of thing now. But originally, it was like, hey, I'm actually having like a really bad day. And I was just like, here's everything. Here's all my love. Here's my affection. Like, I care about you. Like, I want to help you. It's like, here's everything. Like, just fucking take it all. Like, we're in. And then I'd get frustrated that they were suddenly very fucking overwhelmed and like, whoa, I need to step back from this. This is too much right now. I can't handle this. And I'm like, no, keep taking it. Like, I want to help. And really important lesson to learn. That shit don't work. You're just going to scare them right the fuck off.
No.
So, yeah, no, very, very good.
Yeah, really good. So the other point I really wanted to talk about as well is don't take it personally when you're listening to someone and they're talking about things that are going on. Sometimes it can be hard because sometimes maybe they might be trying to help you help them.
Yeah.
So it's really important to try and take that in, listen to what they're saying, and not to take anything like it personally. So, they're saying something like, I don't really want to talk about the particular scenario. That's a really good one, actually. So a lot of the time, if you are someone who's asking someone about the issue, asking them if they're okay, you want to really just go straight into it. You want to get into the nitty gritty. You want to know exactly what the issue is, and you want to know what the problem is, and you want to try and solve it for them. So, did you just break a fingernail? Just breathe, relax. Do you want to talk about it? Yeah, so don't take it personally. And where I was sort of going with that is, I've kind of lost my train of thought because of your little boo boo. Anyway, if you're not watching, you're listening on Spotify. Christian's banged his finger or something on the desk, and he's broken a fingernail, and he's and you've pulled on it. That was silly. All right, moving past that. Yeah. So sometimes if you are trying to help someone, you want to try and go straight into the issue, and you want to know the exact details of everything. And then because you feel like that's the information that you need to solve their problem. But you just need to remember, don't take it personally. You're not there to solve the problem, because you're probably not going to solve the problem. Nine times out of 10, but I'd almost say 100% of the time, you're not going to solve their problem. The aim or the goal is to coach them through being able to solve their problem themselves. And I think that's really powerful. That is a really powerful thing to do. If you can help them understand what they can do, so whether that be talking about some things that might help, talking about some other topics, talking about some things that they enjoy, things that they like, going and doing something with them that they enjoy to take their mind off it. And these kind of things that I've just rattled off too, I'm talking about coping mechanisms. And we've done a whole episode on that. So encouraging them to go and do some healthy ones, that's the goal, because then they can, they will be able to help themselves. So really don't try and take it personally when they're especially trying to explain how you can help them. Yeah. And sorry, I'm going to cut in again and say something else. It's hard on the other side as well. You can sometimes, and we talked about the frustration, sometimes you can feel helpless. Sometimes you feel like you want to just, scream at them and say, just help me, help you. So they are trying to do that. So listen, really listen first, and that will give you the information that you need so that you can help them.
I really love it when the actors in movies say the title of the movie. So, well done for saying the podcast title in the podcast. That's great. So, what I like a point that you made there, that you're not there to fix the problem, you're just there to help guide them through it. And we spoke about it in the coping mechanism episode with the quote that the problem's not the problem, it's coping that is the problem. So 9 times out of 10, you're not there to fix that problem. You're just there to help them cope with the problem. Like, they're fully aware of the problem. You don't need to be. And another point to make on not needing to know what the problem is, you don't always know what the problem is and how badly it may be affecting that person. And you wanting to understand it is fine, but you need to be respectful of people's boundaries and understand that it may be a particularly triggering emotion or situation in their life. And for them to share the details of that situation may be too much. And that's where you need to respect that kind of unspoken boundary that they've put in place. A lot of people will put it verbally in place and just say, hey, look, I'm really struggling right now. I don't want to go into details too much, but I just want to have a chat. And that's where you need to respect it. Like, don't go fishing and don't try to dig around and find out what it is, because if they don't want to talk about it, then they don't want to talk about it. And it's not your job to go looking for it, because you never know. You never know how triggering it could be. And even if you do find out what the situation is and you're like, oh, that's not triggering, like, that's fine. Like, why didn't they share those details? Like, you don't understand how it affects each person. Everyone's different. Everyone has trigger points. Everyone has trauma. And you need to be very respectful towards people, because it could be just an absolutely horrible experience that they had in their life. And now that they're going through something that reminds them of it, it could be an absolute trigger point and they just don't feel comfortable sharing it. So, yeah, definitely be respectful.
Yeah, great point. Really, really good. And I wanted to say as well, on top of that, it's that whole kind of understanding that there could be a fear of being judged. So just remember, it's a consistency thing. And we spoke about this early on. We chatted about the Are You OK organization. Look, and again, great organization. Really like, what they stand for. But we spoke about that whole 1 day a year thing. That's not enough. It's not enough to check in with your mates 1 day of the year. And 1 day of the year is not enough time to develop that type of relationship. It's a different relationship. It's a very different relationship when it comes to being able to help someone with their mental health. So the more consistent you are with chatting to that person in regards to those sort of topics, the more likely they are to open up a little bit more as well. So, and that helps. That will help, but sometimes, yeah, just be respectful and be mindful and understand that they may have, that there may be those trigger points. There may be the fear of being judged. But as time goes on, and the more and more you have these conversations with that person, they won't feel like you will judge them. So, great point. Just wanted to add that on top of it because they just connect so well with kind of, and, looping back to what we were chatting about at the start.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's just it's one of those things. Like, this all takes time. Like you said, it's not a one day of the year thing. It takes time to really lay down the foundation and build that friendship up, and essentially to gain somewhat of a reputation in your friend and family circles. Like, the longer you do these conversations with people, eventually it'll get out. Like, people fucking talk, and it it you will become that person that people go to. And that's not a bad thing. Like, that's a good thing. Like, if people trust you and know that you're going to be there, it's like, that's a really good thing. And I kind of really, really want to dive into something here. Just really quickly, I've got to get it out there.
I do too.
Yeah. So
yeah, go for it because I got something as well.
I'm curious as to what yours is going to be. I was talking about this yesterday with somebody. So, one essential thing that you need to be hyper fucking vigilant on is having these conversations with people is great. Being able to support and guide someone going through a hard time is amazing. It's so positive. It can make you feel really, really good, but you need to be able to separate yourself from the situation. You can't take on other people's emotions, other people's traumas, other people's problems. It's so easy to take on what someone is telling you, and it's not healthy because you will burn out. Like, don't be afraid to have the conversation, but you need to be aware of when that conversation is beginning to affect your mental health. Because I've been there, I've done it. Everyone's done it. You're there for someone, you take on everything that they're dumping on you. Like, you take that energy, that emotion, and you wrap it all up, and it takes a toll. So just be hyper aware of how you're feeling as well when you're supporting someone. Don't take on their problems. Just guide them through it, assist them where you can, but you don't need to be responsible for how they're feeling, what the situation is, because it's always going to be out of your control. You can't control how they feel. You can't control what's going on. You're just a little bit of a buffer to help get them through. So it's just essential. Fucking essential.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, really, really good. I think you chatted about something that maybe I was going to miss, so I'm really glad that you mentioned that. And mine's sort of similar or kind of leads on from that. It's that whole, like you said, that sometimes that person, you can be that person that so many different people will come to, which is fantastic, which is awesome. That means that you're having you're having an effect. It's helping them, so they come to you because it helps them, and that's fantastic. But as Christian said, just remember to not take on all of that sort of stuff personally, because it will take a toll. And, I've been in a situation before where something similar like that is kind of happened. And what kind of happens is you kind of start feeling like you're forgotten about in that sense, because you may have so many people coming to you and talking to you, but a lot of the time you might never get asked, how are you doing? So I kind of was just going to lead into it's a two-way interaction. So if someone, you might have someone in your support network and they do a fantastic job at supporting you, just try to remember sometimes that they're also human. They also go through issues and problems and things like that. Return the favor. Ask them as well and check in on them, make sure they're okay. So that's really great point you brought up. And the other thing I really wanted to talk about as well is when you are helping someone, just remember there's no shame in admitting when you don't feel like you can offer any help.
Yeah. Yep.
Because it's sorry, I'm trying to get my words out here. The worst thing you can do is, I'm going to call it, I don't know, I'll coin this. I'm going to call it false help. And I'm going to say it's where you're there trying to help someone. You've realized yourself that you can't actually help them in any way, not effectively in that particular moment anyway. So it's really important to realize, let them know, so that they can then go and talk to someone else who might be able to support in that scenario or support in that time, because you might not be in the right mindset. And again, we talked about mindsets last week. You might not be in the mindset to help that person in that particular time. So it's really important to understand that there is no shame in saying to this person, look, I appreciate that you've come to me, you want to talk to me. I see that things aren't going so well and you need someone to talk to, but currently at the moment, I can't help you in that sort of capacity. And then let them know what their next steps are. So, push them or guide them towards some professionals and things like that, because it might be a scenario where it's something that's a little bit out of your expertise and it really does require some professional help. So guide them towards that, or let them know that they may have someone else that might be able to help in more of a capacity than you can in that particular moment. So just be very careful about that, because the worst thing you can do is pretend. So that false help, pretend to sit there and listen and understand when you don't.
That's it. Definitely knowing your not boundaries, your capabilities, knowing when you can and can't offer support, and it not just your knowledge or understanding either, being mindful of where your mental health is too. So there is nothing wrong if someone reaches out to you and they're like, hey, look, I'm having a really hard day. There is nothing wrong with replying to that person and saying, hey, look, I really appreciate you reaching out to me. Unfortunately, I'm having a bad mental health day and I don't know how much help I'm going to be to you at the moment. Like, can we come back to this later on? What, like, what do you need to have a talk with somebody, like just a chat, or do you actually need advice and help? Because like I can have a chat to you at the moment, but I can't go into it at the moment. I'm not in the right frame of mind. I need to sort myself out before I can help you. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's a very reasonable response to make, because if you're not right yourself at that specific time, then you're not going to help anyone. And chances are you're going to make your situation worse. So definitely mindfulness.
Yeah, absolutely. And it comes back to that whole being patient. So if there's anything to take away from things that we've spoken about today, I think the biggest thing is just be patient. Be patient in both, from both sides. Be patient with the person who's helping you. Be patient with the person that you're helping. And the other thing to really take away is to really understand how you can help them in the best way possible, and not to push them too hard, and be respectful. I think they're the real big key takeaways from what we've spoken about today. And though these things will go a long way, they will help so much.
Sick. That was a good chat. I like that.
Yeah, really good. We'll take a quick break. We're going to have a word from our sponsors, and we'll be right back with you in just a moment. The Pain in Our Head podcast is proudly sponsored by Music Magic Co. and Brisbane rock band The Flying Circus. Visit the links in the podcast description for more information. Back to the show. Welcome back. Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of the Pain in Our Head podcast. This week we've been talking about, the episode's called Help Me Help You. That's what we've been chatting about. We've been talking about what it's like to help someone with mental health issues, how you can help the person helping you, and what you can do to help them understand what they need from you, which is really, really important. When we spoke about some things regarding respect, and patience from both sides. So really good. But now we're going to talk about some music that we've been listening to this week. So super excited about this. We always are. We've been listening to some great music this week.
Yep.
Let's start with that. What have you been listening to? What's just some, it could be few songs, or I know there is definitely one. I know you've been binging, but what are some things you're listening to this week?
Yeah, so this week I don't have a song. I don't have a song that I can relate to helping me help people, or helping people help me. I just don't. Nothing stands out to me. I probably do. I'll probably fucking later today. It'll be like, oh, light bulb moment. But it's not now. So whatever. So I'm just going to go into some songs that I've come across this week. And like Caleb said, I've got one that I've been absolutely hammering. And that is Alienated by Orbit Culture. It's so good. Sorry. Sorry. So it's brutal as shit, and I found it, and I actually found it from an Instagram reel, and I sent it to Caleb. It was like, oh, when the double bass kicks in, and I was just, when the double pedal kicks in, and I was like, that's funny. I was like, well, that's heavy. That's really good. So I looked up the song that they'd used, and it was Alienated by Orbit Culture. And 30 seconds in, the double pedal just absolutely bashes the shit out of your ear pussies. And I was just like, holy shit. Like, straight away, I was like, Caleb, look at it. Look at it.
My legs hurt just listening to it. That's how fucking fast it is. It's ridiculous. It's incredible.
Yeah. So, and yesterday I was going for a drive, and it was a 40-minute drive. And so the whole way home, I was just cranking that song on repeat. I was just like, yeah. So Caleb's going to get smashed with Snapchats this week of me singing it, because it's also got brutal vocals, and that's my shit. I love gutturals. So he's going to get bombarded. And another song was recommended to me. It was a request for me to sing it from one of our listeners, Jem. Hi, Jem. She'll appreciate that.
I think she will.
Yeah. So, and that was Porn Star Dancing by My Darkest Days. And That song makes me feel sexy as shit. That's like listening to Pour Some Sugar on Me. Like, I'm just like, oh, yeah, like, what's going on here? Like, I feel sexy as fuck right now. It's like, It's like, yeah, she wraps her hands around that pole. She licks her lips, and off we go. She takes off nice and slow. That's porn star dancing. It's just like, oh, yeah, like, that's the shit. Like, that's how I feel, man. Like, I fucking know that's going to end up on a clip. So, fuck you. I'm embracing it.
It also puts you in a good mood.
Yep. I love it. Like, I was at work listening to it. It was hot as balls. So I'd taken my work shirt off. I just had my black singlet on. Like, I look fucking good in a black singlet. I rock that shit. And like, I had my cap on backwards, had like a little bit of hair poking out underneath my cap. And I was just like, yeah, porn star dancing daddy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, do you get that? Do you get like a song where you feel it? Like, it makes you feel real fucking dirty.
No.
Now I just feel awkward.
No, I don't think I really have a song that does that for me.
Maybe you're not sexual enough.
When I was younger, I used to be what I'm sexy and I know it by LMFAO.
That's not a sexy song. That's a stupid song. Catchy as fuck.
I'm talking about when I was younger. I don't know. I don't have a song that makes me feel like that. So yeah.
When you pause when you left for the recording earlier, I told you I left a little message for you. It's me singing "I'm Too Sexy" by Right Said Fred, and I'm undoing my buttons and doing a little tease for you. So enjoy reviewing the podcast later.
Excellent.
on.
I can't wait. Yeah, I'm very excited. Awesome. That's great. Yeah, look, they're good songs. I haven't heard the second one, but the first one, when you sent me that, awesome. Loved it.
I told you to listen to that second one.
Look,
like 3 times.
And I probably didn't get around to it. I've been really bad this week. I've been just so overwhelmed with lots of different things going on. I haven't done actually a lot of listening to music this week, so that's not good. But
your hair looks like you got pigtails.
Yeah, I know. It's
do it.
I'm having a
fucking do it next week. I have pigtails.
I'm having a wild hair day today. Oh goodness.
My hair looks fucking hot.
Looks good. Looks very nice. Very nice. Great.
Something very sexual.
It's that song. Now that you thought about that song, you're thinking about it. Oh, that's good. Awesome. No, well, excellent. That's great. That's fantastic. Awesome. Well, while Christian unflutters himself, I just want to quickly. I just want to put a quick plug in here for a second. You may have noticed, if you are watching the YouTube, you may have noticed a change in the start of our video, just right at the start. So just putting a plug and thanking Heather Illustrations for providing us with that amazing visual for our YouTube. So that's fantastic. So her Instagram is in the description. So please go and check that out. So really, really, really thankful for that. It's awesome. So just wanted to quickly mention that. I forgot to mention it earlier. But yeah, so my songs, what I've been listening to this week. I've been listening to a few things. Not really. I say that, and I really haven't been listening to much. I'll start with the song. As soon as we had the idea for this episode, I thought of a song immediately. And I've already brought up Cold Rain before. But this song of theirs is called Help Me Help You. So that song is, while an awesome song, so much fun to sing along to. Great. I can never hit the chorus when I'm trying to sing along. I can never reach that high. It's fantastic. It's quite a high energetic song too. I think, for the topic that it's speaking about. But it really is. When you have a listen, check out the lyrics and what that song's kind of talking about. It really is, I think, talking about that whole idea of, help me help you. Let me understand. Let me know what I need to do to help you get through whatever it is that you need to get through. So great song. It's not one of their heaviest songs, not one of their lighter songs, kind of in the middle, which I think I really like the mix of, really nice cleans, as well as there's also some quite not super aggressive, but there are some quite, I guess, lots of fry screams. I think the second verse is all fry screams, so that's quite. I think it's quite powerful how it changes from first verse, the chorus being quite clean, and then second verse is fry screams. And to me, I feel like it really is envisioning the whole help me help you. You're getting sort of two perspectives. You're getting one side and the other side as well. So I think that's a really, really cool part about it. And I'm trying really hard not to laugh because I think Kristen just dropped his phone, and I hope it broke.
I'm hyper professional and I do not use my phone while I'm recording the podcast. So that was 100% not my phone dropping onto my fucking big toe and me trying not to cry.
There'd be a 10-minute video of that I could put together of you using your phone during the podcast. Like minimum. I'm talking minimum. I think I might do that. I might just do that. I might put that all together and I'll just label it Christian using his phone in the podcast. It'll be a 10-minute video.
It's not always me using my phone for personal uses. Like sometimes it looks like I'm using my phone and I'm actually bringing up another tab on the screen. It's also, I'm like I'm looking up something that I need to talk about. I'm like, fucking hurry up. You've forgotten exactly what you wanted to say. It's like, or I'm looking up song lyrics because we're talking about music and I've forgotten the fucking lyrics, as I always do.
I love revving you up. It's hilarious. Anyway, so yeah, great song. Help Me Help You by Cold Rain. Go and check that one out. So I did listen to that this morning. In terms of what I've been listening to, I can't get away from Bad Flower at the moment. I've booked my ticket now. I think I spoke about it a couple of weeks ago. I've booked my ticket now to go see them when they come here in Brisbane in the middle of the year.
You're a bad flower.
I'm a bad flower. The Jester by Bad Flower. I have been binging that song on repeat all this week, and just a lot of their stuff too. Just all their stuff. I've really been enjoying all of it. So I'm super, super pumped for the concert. I can't wait.
Yeah, you did show me that one. It was quite an enjoyable song, even though I was absolutely smashing Alienate yesterday. You showed it to me last night. So I went from just brutal music to not brutal music. And I was like, no, this is still enjoyable. Like, I can appreciate this song. This is a very good song. I quite enjoyed it. So, yeah. Recommend giving it a listen. Have we mentioned the Spotify playlist?
Was just about to. So if you would like to mention it, by all means.
Yeah. So one of our listeners, this is great. We're getting feedback from listeners, and as you can see, we're acting on it. So one of our listeners, Flick, reached out and was like, hey, it'd be really cool if you guys could do a Spotify playlist and update it each week with the songs that you've spoken about so that listeners of the podcast can easily just go and listen to these songs that you've spoken about. And so we've done it. There should be a link in the description to the Spotify playlist. Caleb's rigged that up for us. And so, yeah, each week we will upload as the new episode comes out. We will update it with the newest additions to the songs. So if you want to listen, just go have a listen.
Yes. Yeah, go have a listen. So that'll just be all the songs that we chat about. So we've both spoken about a couple today. So I think for this episode, we're going to chuck all of them up there before this episode comes out. So yeah, check it out. Go have a look. That's in the description of the podcast as well on the description for YouTube as well. So.
Idea. Do you think we should upload the songs before the
Well,
episode comes out? Give people a chance to listen to the song, and then when it comes to the release of the episode, they can be like, "Hey, I've listened to this song already, and I know what they're talking about."
yeah, well, that was good that you brought that up because I was just about to ask our listeners whether you watch it on YouTube or Spotify, listening on Spotify or however you're consuming this right now, send us an email, put a comment on the YouTube, or if you are just listening on Spotify, just jump on the YouTube for a sec and put a comment in. Let us know if you would like the music that we're going to be talking about on the upcoming episode, if you would like that to come out before the episode to give you a chance to listen to that music before we chat about it. So let us know. Let us know because if we get enough of you say no, we want to hear you talk about it, and then we'll go listen to it. Then we'll hold off. But if you let us know that you really want to hear it before the episode comes out, yeah, we will. We'll start doing that. So,
Creative process right there.
oh yeah,
You're seeing that shit live.
yes, yeah. Speaking about live too, I think we'll have to organise a time if we can do a live stream. I think down the track that would be really cool. Something that we also want to do. So again, I'm going to put it to our listeners. We've got heaps now. Well, I mean, I say heaps. We're so thrilled. We're thrilled. I guess we'll take this little quick time to just thank each and every one of you for listening. Absolutely means the world, listening or watching. It really does mean the world to us. So thank you. And yeah, so I've completely lost my train of thought. Why do you just listen to this? Maybe put that in the comments.
Just waiting for me to do my ASMR voice again. That's it.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, completely forgot where I was going with that whole entire thing. So, oh yeah, we're gonna live. Yeah, let us know if that's something you would like to be a part of. If we get enough people wanting to be a part of a whole kind of live stream, we would definitely look at setting that up. So, really cool. Intrigued. Interested to do that.
Yeah, I think that would be a really good experience. Like just having that kind of, I guess it would just be an open discussion. Like it'd just be you and I shit talking for a bit until someone starts asking questions.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, Lou, and we've said it before. We usually run these things pretty flat through. You know, we don't do a lot of cutting. We don't do a lot of editing. I think today there is going to be, for some reason, there was a fair few let's call them technical difficulties. But anyway, that's fine. But yeah, no, it'll be a whole heap of good fun. So now we've talked about a little bit of music. We've talked about what we've kind of listened to. I want to extend our conversation a little bit. I want to talk about live performances, just for a little bit.
Nah, fuck you, I'm out of here.
I mean, he doesn't. You don't perform live anymore, so I can understand. You probably don't have much to say.
Wow.
No, I had a gig on the weekend, and it's part of why I'm exhausted. It's just so much fun, and I haven't played live for a while. The last time was later in the year last year, so it had been a fair few months. But I'm just exhausted and so it's like sore, like just from playing and like I guess like were you a very active I guess performer? I know we've talked about this. Were you an active were you running around on stage? You know, were you kind of more of you'd stand there and just belt your lyrics out and
So our music is super heavy, super slow. Like it's not super slow, but it's not the sort of music that you get that energy from where you want to jump around the stage and do your thing. And then obviously I had horrible stage fright. So before we'd go on stage, I'd be in the toilets trying not to throw up or cry every performance. And so that in itself, like that pre going on stage was fucking exhausting. Like I was drained after we go on stage because I was so emotionally worked up. I was just all over the shop, and then I'd get up, I'd do what I had to do, and then doing metal vocals is hard work. And then you'd get off stage, and actually, as you know, fucking stage lights are the most energy draining thing you will ever experience in your life. Being on stage, having a fucking stage light just burning a hole through your back of your head, you just absolutely sweat bullets. It's so goddamn just draining having a fucking light on you. And then, yeah, so you finish your performance and you just like, fuck. And then you get up in the morning and you're just like, I'm so fucking worn out.
And as a singer too, you know, you'd finish your performance and you'd just jump straight off stage and you wouldn't help the rest of the band with any of their equipment, hey? No.
Wow.
Oh, goodness. There's
bad from a fucking caveman.
Look, no, not
me drummer. Ooga booga. That's a fuck.
That's what I look like too. Yeah,
we spoke about your stank face and you fucking clipped it. I've seen your stank face photos.
Yeah, I've got some terrible faces that I pull when I'm drumming. But yeah, no.
Terrible faces you pull in general.
I just have a terrible face in general. But yeah, it's exhausting, and that's the worst part is the packing up afterwards. Oh gosh, you go so hard, like pedal to the metal, and especially through the last few songs, and then all of a sudden it's like, quick, pack your shit up, get the fuck off stage. Like the next performance is on, or the next things that's going on. You need to get your ass off there. Like there's no time to take a breath in between that little part. So yeah, it's interesting. It's good fun. But
we kind of worked around that a little bit sometimes. So in the local scene, it was easier to do because you just get to know all the other bands and stuff. And instead of so most of our gigs that we did locally would be four bands in one night, and generally, like Tomo was pretty cool with it. He'd lend his drum kit out to people, and the same with all the microphones and stands and all the PA equipment was all used by every band, and even so far as some of the amps and heads and that, they just got left set up. So the next band had come on, like first band had set up, next band had come on, and there'd be some minor changes, but then that was it. So there was no like massive rush after your performance to get your shit off and let the next band set up. But then, you know, at the end of the night, it's still a massive undertaking. Like every week I'd help the drummer pack up his kit and carry it out to his car, and in Gumby with his amps and his heads and his guitars, because he'd bring like 2 or 3 guitars. So, you know, I wasn't a lazy vocalist.
No, look, I think it's a bit of a myth, to be honest. You know, I'm really lucky. My band helps me out too, so which is really good.
Well, being a vocalist, like, it is hard. Like, it's really hard when you've just got so much fucking pussy being thrown at you, and like then having to go and help the band members pack up their stuff. It's like, what do you choose? Like, do you go and interact with all these hot people that want to talk to you, or do you talk to the sweaty, ugly guys that you've just been screaming along with? Like, you know, it's a really hard lifestyle being a vocalist. I'm shit talking.
No comment.
I'm shit talking, man. Like,
no comment. I don't even know what to fucking say to that. Oh, goodness me. Oh, look, that's great. No, it's fantastic. Yeah, look, great performance. So much fun. We should. I think we should probably do a bigger episode on what it's like performing.
Oh yeah, because
In
everybody
terms of,
wants
like,
to hear what
from
it's
the
like.
start. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So exciting. I don't know. Let us know. Put it in the comments. Yeah. Who knows?
Do you want me to talk about pissing my pants and spewing all over the fucking toilets and trying not to cry at the same time before I go on stage? Leave a comment.
It's interesting though. It's there's a mental health angle there that I think we can definitely take.
Yeah, you're right.
So, really good. Great. Look, thank you for listening today. We've chatted about some really great stuff. I think we've rambled on a fuck ton today. So this is a different recording time than what we used to. We usually record during the evenings or the nights. This is fresh, early in the morning. First up, so very different for the both of us. I think it took a while before we woke up. Definitely for me, anyway.
I literally crawled out of bed and turned the computer on. You're like, I'm on. And it's like, yeah, roll over, hit the on switch, and I'm like, yeah.
Here we go. Oh, good. Very good. Well, again, thank you for listening. Very thankful for our listeners. Be sure to leave us a comment on the YouTube. Send us in an email with any questions or queries. We do enjoy receiving feedback from you and responding to all your messages. So thank you very much. Next week we will be talking about, this is going to be a big one. So next week we're going to talk about addictions. So that's huge, absolutely huge. We've got so much to cover off in that episode. So I'm really looking forward to chatting about that. So keep an ear, keep an eye out, and we'll be back next week with another episode. Till then, it's okay to not be okay.
Bye, guys.